Hey there hunters, and welcome back to the Gunners Guild. Today we're going to talk about the gunner meta shakeup now that we have all these new toys to play with the new title update. We'll also be talking about the update in general, the new systems, what to expect, all the new armor skills, and all that jazz. No new sets today because there's just too much to test and go through, but other than that, let's just dive in. First, let's talk about the new monsters added in the title update, their armors and their weapons, at least from a gunner perspective. First is Seething Basil Goose. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised we have good gunner hit zones on this guy, so we really shouldn't have much of an issue fighting him with Pierce MO. Unlike the regular Goose who changes his hit zones a lot and loses his weak spots when he enrages. Plus, this Goose is super weak to ice, so that's a plus. His armor, kind of a joke though. I have no idea what they're kind of doing with all these pieces. It's kind of all over the place and there doesn't seem to be a theme around it, so I don't expect we'll see much of his armor. His light bowgun is just a 10 raw upgrade of the regular Goose, so that's boring. Welcome to being a gunner, I guess. Next, we have Gold and Silver Wraths. Surprisingly, decent for gunners as well. Silverlos has fat water hit zones across the wings, but the only decent raw spot is the tail until he becomes super heated, then he can go for the face. Also, this Wrath cannot be dunked. Big rip there. No exhaust dunks, no head dunks. Gold Wrathion, surprisingly good hit zones on the legs, which is normal for the past games. I just didn't think that we were going to get it here in Rise. You can also shoot the tail and the tail tip, so a lot of good hit zones on Gold Wrathion. You can shoot her face when she's superheated or when the face is broken though, but it's pretty sturdy, so I'm not sure how much of that we're going to be doing. She's not weak to elements though, so just stick to raw for her. Both of their armors are pretty good too. Besides the solid slots and skills, they do have new armor skills that are definitely going to see some use. Silverlos has Elemental Exploit, which is honestly not as good as I was expecting. It's when you hit an elemental zone of 20 or higher, you get a percentage-based increase in elemental damage. Level 1 is 10%, but then it's 12.5 at level 2 and 15% at level 3. I feel like level 1 is the only amount you really should be investing into this skill, but hey, it's basically 10% free elemental damage, right? Gold Wrathion comes in with Defiance, which is also a new level 1 decoration, and Defiance is just nuts. It's basically Agitator for defensive skills, and at level 3, it's a 5 level skill, but you only really need level 3. When a monster is enraged, you get Windproof, Tremor Resistance, and Earplugs, and that's pretty insane for 3 level 1 decos. Sadly, gunners kind of need their level 1 decoration slots, so we're probably not going to be using it all that much unless you decide to use the Gold Wrathion legs, which are totally fine. Now, as far as their weapons go, yeah, they're not really replacing anything. Wrathion's Bowguns were never anything great, and that kind of remains the same with Gold Wrathion, sadly. Silverlos Light Bowgun is cool, but it has rapid fire on the Pierce Elemental MO, and you all know how I feel about that. Though with the new armor augment systems, we might be able to fit in rapid fire up easier and not lose too many skills, so maybe it'll see some use, but the loss of Elemental Bane from the Rampage decoration is probably going to ensure that we don't use it. Their bows are pretty okay too. Gold's bow is nice, but I think Valstrax will still be the go-to for spread dragon since Gold Wrathion does not have power coats. Silverlos for rapid fire is actually pretty on par with Anjanath, and since it doesn't have negative affinity, I'm probably going to use this over Anjanath. Plus, it just has really fat fire, so if we're going against a fire weak monster, this thing's going to just shred. Moving on to Lucid Armor. Great fight, solid gunner hit zones too, massively weak to ice. And it's crazy that we got solid gunner hit zones on all these monsters, especially because Lucid Armor in the past has had terrible hit zones, both raw and element. So yeah, solid additions there. Lucid Armor is also quite amazing. Not only does it have great spread of skills in general, it's got 2 new skills that are very solid and will see a lot of use. Although Bowgun's probably not going to use them much. Sneak Attack, despite saying 12%, is actually a 20% damage boost when you're behind a monster. And you don't need to be like behind, just slightly to the side works too. Think of it like this. Take a monster looking straight at it, cut a line across the middle, and if you're in the back half of that, you get Sneak Attack. For solo play, probably not going to see much use of this unless you have your pets out because monster's just going to stare you down anyways. But it's a 20% damage boost, and if you have pets, I would definitely use this. It's insanely strong. It's like getting your heroics level. I probably won't build for it though, because, you know, monsters are going to be staring at me the whole time, because when I play, I don't have pets and stuff. The other new skills it adds is Adrenaline Rush, which is just straight overpowered for bows. So like Blade Scale Home, this works on perfect dodges, and only dodges that come from circle or spacebar or whatever your role is. So when you iframe something, you get a 30 raw boost for 30 seconds. It's huge. Level 1 and level 2 is like 10 and 15, and then it jumps to 30, so I mean there's that, but it's a huge boost of raw for just a very small investment. And bows get to activate this on dodge bolts, so basically it's always going to be active, just like blade scale hone, and 30 raw is pretty big for an always active skill. Bowguns, not going to use it so much. I mean, light bowgun can probably use it, but iframing is still super tight in this game, and I'm not sure I'd risk it, especially when we have countermines to dodge stuff. And no, this doesn't activate on countermines. It doesn't activate on like shoulder checks, parries, redirects, or anything with a wire bug. It's literally just the dodge input. Still an amazing skill though, and bow just keeps getting stronger and stronger every patch, it seems. It's crazy. Lucid's weapons are all pretty poo though. They basically lose all their crit and gain some raw, but that's it. So yeah, it's not really going to replace anything, and sadly the light bowgun loses walk and shoot, so yeah, we're not using that at all. So yeah, bow got some usable armor pieces and a new bow. Bowgun's got nothing really, quite a shame, but let's discuss some of the other new features. First is that we get new decorations as you level your anomaly research ranking, and the big ticket items here are Coalescence, which is a level 2 deco that you get at like level 51 or something like that. But other than that, we really don't have any new decorations for Gunner. Like Sniper 3 is level 4 and Tune Up are pretty much it, but Tune Up is nowhere near as good as it needs to be. It's a shame that we don't get like, recoil or reload level 4s, no redirect level 4, no shot type up level 4s, no spare shot level 4s. Like Gunners need a lot of skills. Blade Masters get Grinder, Master's Touch, Razor Sharp, Protective Polish, and it just feels kind of bad being left out here, but oh well, maybe in a later update. Now let's move on to the Augment system. Weapon Augments first. Again, bow got everything this update. With Elemental and Attack Augments, you basically get 9 base element and 5 raw on every bow, which is absurd. Like, that's so much damage, like, you guys don't even realize it. It's like 30% more element on just for free. And that's going to be the go-to for every single bow. It's too good to pass up. You go 3 elemental augments and then 1 raw. Bowguns, on the other hand, yeah, we didn't really get anything. We don't get recoil or reload augments. We don't even get elemental augments, which sucks because we had it in Iceborne, and it would have helped us a lot because we already can't complete Anomaly and Elder Dragon hunts with elemental MOs. We always just run out. So all bowguns have is attack and affinity, and then some of the older bowguns get the rampage upgrade. So pretty much though, you pick whatever you want, doesn't really matter. You can get 10 raw or 5 raw 5 crit, but that's basically all you get. It's super boring and sad. Now if we had recoil and reload decorations, we would be able to use new bowguns and also fit in like critical firepower and elemental reload onto stuff easier, but no, that's too much to ask for, I guess. And lastly, armor augments. So these are kind of all over the place, and basically any skill that shows up on a charm can show up on the armors, so you're not going to get any of like the crazy stuff like Bloodlust or Adrenaline Rush or any of the new skills. It has to be on a charm. But you can also remove skills when you're rolling for stuff, which is bad. And I don't really know how to go forward with building sets around these because like no one's going to have the same augments. Rolling for the slots is probably the safest upgrade and probably the most reliable one, so I'd probably just do that and recommend doing that, to be honest, because that's also just more versatile than having a very set skill on each piece. Now, once you get good slot upgrades or a usable skill, just end it there, stop rolling, because like I have rolled like 10,000 times, and I'm telling you, like you get one good thing and that's it. But going forward, when I do like build set videos, I'm going to be doing like a blank canvas set with like no charms and no augments. Then I'm going to have a slightly upgraded one with a charm, and then do like the min-max one with augmented armors, I guess. I don't know. It's going to be like a lot, especially doing that for all the ammo types for both light and heavy bowgun. So it's going to be a huge pain, and I don't really know how to do this efficiently. So it's going to take a lot of time, and I have to make the sets as well as test them before I can post them online and do all the stupid like photoshopping of putting it together. So bear with me on that. Bow's gonna be easy enough to do, but I would just go hit up Titus's YouTube page if you want the bow info, because he's all over that, and I unfortunately have to do everything else first. Plus, I still want to play the game, right? So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit before I get those armor updates out. But to summarize this whole thing up, Title Update 1, new monsters are great, good fights, no complaints. Weapons are bad, it's kind of a shame. Armors are cool, good skill additions, great all around. Weapon augments are a wet dream for bows, boring for bowguns. Armor augments are basically charm RNG all over again, but now you're doing it on every piece of gear you have. Bow got big power creep this update, bowguns get like 10 raw. But that's all for now. I'll keep you posted when I do my set updates and such, but thank you all for watching, and good luck out there, hunters.